Okay, I'm going to share this video with you and make this really short, but I want you to know something up front. First of all, you got to share this video with everybody you know, and the reason for that is they're going to tell you that the case fatality rate of CV-19 is 0.1 to 0.3%, which is the same exact case fatality rate as the regular seasonal flu. And if that's the case, what they're admitting here is that they shut down the entire world economy for a lie. Somebody, a lot of somebodies need to be held responsible. Now, I added the text underneath, so if you can't understand what John Roberts is saying here and what some of the people in the press corps are saying here, and by the way, this is from the White House CV Virus Task Force briefing room. This isn't some fly-by-night, Saturday Night Live operation. These guys are actually talking on a hot mic. Listen to this.
What's up, Jerry?
All right, man.
What do you know, baby?
You can take out the mask, Doug. The case fatality rate's like 0.1 to 0.3 according to USC.
Is it really? That's reassuring.
USC.
Everybody here's been vaccinated anyway.
USC and LA County Public Health came out with a study. They found that there were 7,000 cases in California, but they really believe that there are anywhere from 221,000 to 442,000 people who were infected.
Really?
Yeah.
So that makes it 0.1 to 0.3? There's a study to give out with?
Yeah, just give it to that. So it suggests the case fatality rate is about 10.
Wow.
Which puts you right in line with the flu.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what it is.
Do you hear what he said? Puts it right in line with the flu. Yep, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what we've been saying the entire time. We've never shut anything down for the seasonal flu. Why would we shut it down for CV-19 when we have proven to you time and time again from their own documentation and the hypocritical words that they've been saying that this isn't even close to being as deadly as they're saying it is?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what it is.
So it's a hoax.
I don't think it was a hoax.
That would be the obvious conclusion for a sane, rational, moderately intelligent individual. Okay, so what you're telling me is the World Health Organization initially came out with a 3.4 case fatality rate number. Then Anthony Fauci came along and cut it down to a 1%, which they say was 10 times higher than the flu. And now they're saying, okay. It was a 0.1 to a 0.3%, which is the same as the seasonal flu. A rational, sane human being would come to the conclusion, oh, so the original official story was a hoax. This guy is not wrong by coming to this conclusion. This is the natural conclusion. Let's play that again.
I don't think it was a hoax.
So it's a hoax.
I don't think it was a hoax.
We just shut down the economy, destroyed lives. We're erasing the middle class. The bankers are having their way in the repo markets. It was a hoax. These people are sick, and they're all on the same page, guys. Don't cut any of these people any slack. These prostitutes from mainstream media, they're in cahoots with government officials who are railroading every one of us as Americans and everybody in the entire world. And it ends with laughter. How appropriate. Everybody you know.
The COVID vaccine was designed to sterilize the masses and depopulate the world, according to the inventor of the ill-fated Oxford COVID vaccine, who has blown the whistle on the elite's real agenda behind the shots. While the mainstream media continue to serve their masters and suppress the truth, highly placed whistleblowers are coming forward to reveal what they know about what was really happening behind the scenes during the pandemic. Professor John Bell, the head of the Oxford vaccine, has blown the whistle on the real purpose of the mRNA vaccines, which were promoted and distributed by the likes of Anthony Fauci and Bill Gates, and rolled out to billions of people around the world, many of whom were mandated to get vaccinated by their authoritarian governments. During a seemingly routine interview on British TV, Professor Bell slipped in a jaw-dropping revelation that confirmed what many of us have known all along. That's right. There are far too many people in the world, and the vaccines were designed to cull the herd and depopulate the world to a level acceptable to the elites. According to Bell, the COVID vaccines are in the process of sterilising 60 to 70% of the world's population. The moment is surreal, as Bell speaks, oblivious to the live broadcast, only to be met with a look of absolute horror and panic on his colleague's face.
And finally, Sir John, the question everybody's asking you.
These vaccines are unlikely to completely sterilize a population. They're very likely to have an effect which works in a percentage, say 60 or 70%. We'll have to look quite carefully, and the regulators will have to look quite carefully to make sure that it's done what we need it to do before it gets approved. So there will be a delay between the outcome of the trial and a decision whether it can be approved as a vaccine. And of course, anything that happens...
Professor Sir John Bell.
Yeah.
The broadcast was cut short. Professor Bell will never be allowed to appear on mainstream media again, but the damage has been done. The shocking admission has sparked global outrage and fear. It has also proven so-called conspiracy theorists right yet again. While the mainstream media continues to deny what most of us can see before our own two eyes, global populations are plummeting as the mass sterilisation campaign takes hold. Greece is predicted to become the first nation to suffer population collapse as sudden and unexpected deaths continue soaring across the nation, while fertility rates have plunged to levels lower than experts previously thought possible. It's no coincidence that Greece was one of the world's strictest countries when it came to mandating vaccines and punishing those who refused. You know what they say? Vaccines are the leading cause of coincidences. Meanwhile, in fully vaccinated Australia, heart attacks have hit all-time high record levels. Perhaps this is why this week the Australian government redacted every single word on every single page of a long-awaited report on batch tests of the COVID mRNA vaccines they mandated on the public.
Cardiac arrest incidents are at the highest ever recorded in Victoria, prompting health officials to launch a critical awareness campaign. We are now joined by Ambulance Victoria paramedics Bethany Burkett and Caitlin Bale. Good afternoon to you, ladies. Caitlin, last year paramedics responded to more than 7,000 cardiac arrest patients. How concerning are these statistics?
Yeah, look, these numbers are really concerning. Last year in Victoria, the cardiac arrest rates increased by 6%. And in our state alone, each day, about 20 people have a cardiac arrest. Unfortunately, only about 2 of those survive.
Most disturbingly, many of the cardiac arrests in Australia are now occurring in very young children. According to the media, young children have always keeled over and died after suffering massive heart attacks. But we know this is a lie. It is gaslighting at its worst.
Now, you both recently helped to save an 8-year-old who went into cardiac arrest. Her mum actually began CPR before first responders arrived. Bethany, is this just a perfect example of why CPR training is so important?
Yeah, absolutely. This is the perfect example. Our little patient's mum did an amazing job. She had recently done her CPR training at her workplace, so she was able to recognise the signs of a cardiac arrest and recognise what her daughter needed, and was able to start that CPR straight away while she was waiting for us to come. It's absolutely pertinent in the chain of survival for her daughter and for anyone in cardiac arrest to start that early CPR, and she did an amazing job, and she's a big part of the reason why this little girl is here with us today.
Heart attacks and sterilising the population are only the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the tactics the elites are deploying to reach their stated goal of extreme depopulation. The latest figures from the CDC reveal that another tactic involves killing newborn babies. Today's sponsor is pillsforever.com. If you think Big Pharma have your best interests at heart, think again. Under Biden, the price of medicine in America has skyrocketed, and there are certain medicines Big Pharma don't want you to know about. That's why I've partnered with pillsforever.com. All of their FDA-approved medicines are the cheapest you'll find anywhere. More importantly, you can order medicines that Big Pharma don't want you to have, such as ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, and fenbendazole. Speaking of fenbendazole, not only does it get rid of parasites that live inside your body, there have been studies that show fenbendazole can help with cancer. Listen to this testimony of Joe Tippins, a cancer survivor, thanks to fenbendazole.
2 years ago, Joe Tippins says he was told to go home, call hospice, and say his goodbyes. The doctors were unanimous. He was going to die of small cell lung cancer.
Once that kind of cancer goes that far afield, the odds of survival are less than 1%, and the median life expectancy is 3 months.
Tippins says he got a tip, not from a pharmacist, but a veterinarian. And in his desperation, he turned from people medicine to dog medicine. Specifically, fenbendazole.
My insurance company spent $1.2 million on me with traditional means before I switched to a $5 a week medicine that actually saved me.
Get 15% off using coupon code People's Voice at the checkouts. Please click the link below this video or call 256-664-4170 to take advantage of this fantastic offer. The infant mortality rate in the US surged following the COVID vaccine rollout, according to data released by the CDC this week. Infant mortality is one of the most important indicators we have, and it's been trending down year on year in the US since consistent records began in 1995. However, the infant mortality numbers from 2022, 1 year after the vaccine rollout, bucked this downward trend in a major way, shocking researchers and medical staff. Amanda Jean Stevenson, a demographer and assistant professor of sociology at the University of Colorado Boulder, saw the data released by the CDC and was horrified by the results. She said, "We need to see these numbers going down and fast because they are far too high." She's not wrong. But as long as the powers that be are infiltrated and corrupted by Big Pharma and the global elite, we will not see any progress. But the people of the world are waking up to the corrupted system, and cracks are emerging in the wall of silence constructed by the complicit mainstream media. Germany has been the source of a series of bombshell revelations in recent months that have completely disproved the official narrative peddled by the global elite about the COVID pandemic. Non-redacted government documents leaked this week revealed the German government knew that COVID-19 mRNA vaccines were totally ineffective in protecting against COVID before they rolled them out to tens of millions of citizens. But it gets even worse. The government also knew they were deadly, so why did they roll them out to their own people? According to the government documents, they were under pressure from Pfizer and key global figures including Bill Gates and Klaus Schwab. Now, the people are rising up and demanding the government issue a formal apology for their crimes during the pandemic.
Wir schauen natürlich gleich auf die Gewinner des Tages, der Woche, und da müssen wir einen Blick zurückwerfen in die Corona-Zeit. Ist ja schon eine Weile her.
Das ist eine ganz spannende Geschichte, denn die Gewinner sind für mich die Ungeimpften der Corona-Zeit. Die sind ja jetzt rehabilitiert worden. Und zwar, da gibt's nichts mehr dran zu deuteln. Es hat sich nämlich herausgestellt, bei der Öffnung der ungeschwärzten Protokolle des Krisenstabs beim Robert-Koch-Institut, dass schon im November 2021 von denen höchstinstanzlich festgestellt worden ist, dass der Spruch, die Pandemie sei eine Pandemie der Ungeimpften, nicht korrekt ist, wörtlich nicht korrekt. An der Pandemie sei die gesamte Bevölkerung beteiligt, auch die Geimpften. Jetzt muss man sich mal vor Augen halten, was das für die Ungeimpften bedeutet hat damals. Da gab es ja diese 2G-Regelung, dass nur Geimpfte und Genesene sich frei bewegen konnten und die Ungeimpften durften nicht ins Kino, nicht ins Theater, nicht ins Konzert, nicht ins Restaurant, die durften gar nichts außer arbeiten, obwohl sie jeden Tag sich testen lassen mussten. Das war ein ziemlicher Hammer. Und einen solchen Eingriff in Freiheitsrechte von Menschen habe ich in dem Land für völlig unmöglich gehalten, aber es ging eben durch, weil alle glaubten, das sei so. Und die sind ja außerdem in einer Art und Weise beleidigt, beschimpft und runtergemacht worden, dass man sich da im Nachhinein nur schämen kann für. Und nun komme ich gleich zur zweiten Kategorie, die Verlierer des Tages. Das sind all diejenigen, die diesen Satz von der Pandemie der Ungeimpften vor sich hergetragen hatten. Herr Spahn, der Gesundheitsminister, Herr Söder, Herr Lauterbach, Herr Ramelow von den Linken und, hört, der Bundespräsident, Herr Steinmeier, hat das auch verbreitet, höchstinstanzlich sozusagen. Das ist einfach eine unmögliche Geschichte und ich finde, die müssten sich jetzt dafür öffentlich entschuldigen. Ich möchte mal sehen, dass einer aufsteht, den Mumm hat und zu sagen, ich habe mich geirrt damals, es tut mir leid, ich sehe jetzt, was vielen Menschen dadurch passiert ist, ich entschuldige mich. Spahn hat ja relativ früh gesagt, wir erinnern uns alle an den Satz, wir müssen uns viel verzeihen am Ende der Pandemie. Ja, dann soll er doch mal anfangen, soll er doch mal um Verzeihung bitten. Damit Wirklich, damit rechne ich jetzt.
Considering the gravity of the crimes against humanity perpetrated during the pandemic, an apology will not suffice. According to the German government's own data, there was no pandemic at all, just a tightly choreographed military-grade psyop to brainwash the masses into accepting an experimental vaccine with disastrous consequences. Paul Schreier, a multipolar magazine, launched a Freedom of Information request and then a lawsuit against the German government to force them to finally release the secret documents. As Professor Stephen Homburg explains, the results are stunning and represent total vindication for everybody who bravely questioned the narrative of lockdowns, masks and vaccine mandates.
Meine sehr geehrten Damen und Herren, wir haben dunkle Jahre hinter uns. Zunächst das Wichtigste in 5 Stichpunkten. Erstens sank die Klinikbelegung in Deutschland bundesweit im Jahre 2020 auf ein historisches Allzeittief, sagt das Bundesgesundheitsministerium. Zweitens gab es 2020 und 2021 nicht mehr schwere Atemwegserkrankungen als sonst. Corona kam, die Influenza verschwand zeitweise, sagen die Sentinel-Daten des RKI. Drittens starben im Jahr 2020 altersstandardisiert nicht mehr Menschen als sonst auch. Erst seit 2021 nimmt die Sterblichkeit zu, sagen Daten des Statistischen Bundesamts. Viertens waren Menschen, die mit oder an Corona verstarben, im Mittel 83 Jahre alt und die übrigen Verstorbenen im Mittel 82 Jahre alt, sagen RKI und Statistisches Bundesamt. Fünftens und letztens schnitt das masken- und lockdownfreie Schweden besser ab als Deutschland, sagt die WHO. An den Maßnahmen lag das alles also nicht. In der Summe sind die 5 Behauptungen so unglaublich, dass Sie in Ihren Tagungsunterlagen einen Umdruck von mir finden, der heißt amtliche Corona-Fakten. Dort haben Sie jeweils einen amtlichen Link zu jeder dieser Behauptungen.
These facts are damning and prove that the official narrative about COVID, pushed by world governments and mainstream media, is completely bogus. The globalist elite have done their best to unleash hell on earth in the last 4 years. But we the people have held strong, maintained our dignity, and exposed their lies one by one. Our abusers have been backed into a corner, and they're being forced to admit to the lies they've spun. They want us to forgive and forget.